Hey, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Hamas is not a terrorist group.
Oh, it isn't then.
First of all, Hamas is not a terrorist group. Hamas
well,
is not a terrorist group.
What is it, like a motorcycle club? Or?
It is a resistance that has been fuming for 75 years of colonialism, of occupation, of murder, of rape, of little children, of women. That's what they are. They are resistance.
Do you think Canada is a colonialist country too?
Everything that they do is justified.
1 week after October 7th, 20,000 people gathered in Canadian streets, with signs, chants, horns honking. And one reporter walked into the crowd with a microphone and the most dangerous weapon at any rally, a simple, direct question.
Can we not talk about Hamas? You are well aware of the massacre that happened last week in Israel, are you not?
What follows is a parade of contradictions so spectacular that by the end, one woman is wearing machine gun earrings while arguing Hamas are peaceful freedom fighters who brought hostages bananas. And somehow, that's not even the most remarkable thing said on camera that afternoon.
Or could it be that the umbrella is there for another reason, to block the camera ends, or even be weaponized? It's happened before. Okay, so I'm reading a sign here, folks, that says, "Shame on Canada, shame on Trudeau, Olivia Chow, leaders. If you don't call for a ceasefire, you are endorsing Israel to massacre 2 million plus innocent Palestinian civilians in the following weeks." Hi, ma'am, is that your concern, that 2 million Palestinians are going to be massacred by the IDF?
We know that they're in an open-air prison. They cannot leave. They do not have water. They cannot leave. They will be waiting for their death. They're awaiting the bombs to rain down on their families.
The first woman is articulate, composed, and genuinely distressed about Gaza. The signs behind her read "Shame on Canada, shame on Trudeau, ceasefire now." Her concern for Palestinian civilians is real, and she communicates it clearly. All of that is a legitimate humanitarian concern, and worth taking seriously. But then David Menzies of Rebel News asks the question that restructures the entire conversation. And here is where the script flips.
Not being able to leave, isn't that the fault of Hamas? They are blocking Palestinians in Gaza City from leaving, are they not?
Hamas is a distraction from Palestinian lives. Everyone's talking about Hamas to equate Palestinian lives to terrorism.
Watch closely, because that framing is going to come up again and again in this video. Hamas as distraction. Hamas as irrelevance. Hamas as the thing we shouldn't be talking about. And it's worth pausing on why, because the reason is revealing. If Hamas is centered in the conversation, the entire moral architecture of the rally becomes complicated. So Hamas must be made peripheral. That's not a conclusion, by the way. That's a strategy evasion. Then comes the direct question.
Man, with respect, how can we not talk about Hamas? You are well aware of the massacre that happened last week in Israel, are you not?
This is diverting the topic, and we all know it.
Isn't that the crux of the matter? Over 1,300 Israeli civilians were massacred.
The death toll of Palestinians have surpassed the ones of Israelis.
Okay then, but when it comes to laying blame for what's happening right now in Gaza, this was triggered by the events of last week. Otherwise, we'd still be in relative peace, would we not?
You're asking the wrong questions. Ask why 600 Palestinian children were killed through white phosphorus gas bombs instead.
Tell me, ma'am, too, Hamas is recognized by the Canadian government, as well as many other governments, as a terrorist organization. Would you like to see Hamas removed from that list?
Hamas is out of the question. What needs to happen right now in terms of Canada is a ceasefire.
But how can there be a ceasefire if Hamas is doing these kinds of acts of atrocities? And again, I ask you with all respect, should they be still recognized as a terrorist organization?
Hamas's power is nothing. Israel has cut off water supplies, electricity, and fuel from Palestinians. They cannot leave. This has nothing to do with Hamas. This has to do with innocent children getting white phosphorus gas bombs, a war crime known since like World War I, World War.
That's a dodge so elegant it almost sounds like an answer. But a ceasefire between whom exactly, if one party to the conflict doesn't exist in the conversation? Notice how Menzies pushes back but gently. How can there be a ceasefire if one side is committing atrocities And the response is to pivot to white phosphorus, to children, to water supplies. Each pivot is real. Each pivot is also a different exit door from the same room she doesn't want to be in. Then comes the line that needs to be quoted directly, because nothing paraphrased would do it justice. Talking about Hamas while discussing Palestinian lives is the upholding of white supremacy and colonialism. She says it, on camera, and then excuses herself.
If we go down that road, ma'am, is there some blame for Egypt here? They're not letting any Gazans into their country.
It is not Egypt's responsibility to allow Palestinians to go there. The problem here is that Israel has been a 78-year occupation on Gaza, nearly a century of violence against Palestinian innocent children and families. Why aren't we talking about this near decade, near century long of oppression, of dominance, of massacre over the last near century?
Man, when you use the word massacre, is there not a difference between a deliberate act of terrorism, killing innocent civilians, versus collateral damage by the IDF doing, say, an airstrike?
Once again, talking about Hamas while discrediting Palestinian lives is the upholding of white supremacy, and it's part of colonialism as well. So,
white supremacy? I'm not sure I connect the dots there, and colonialism. What do you mean by that?
I'm sorry, unfortunately, I have to go.
Okay, thank you for your time. Hi, sir, I'm just reading your sign. The sign said, "From Turtle Island to Palestine, occupation is a crime." I guess there's some alliteration there, it rhymes, but again, he wasn't interested at all in terms of trying to articulate his point.
The next two women are shorter interviews, but they carry the same explosive DNA.
Hi, ma'am. What brings you out to this demonstration today?
Well, with everything that's going on in Gaza and Palestine, we're here to support our people.
What do you make of what happened last week in Israel that seems to be the trigger for the incursion into Gaza City?
I don't care. For the last 75 years, our people have been dying on Israel's hands. So, you know what? It doesn't matter. Right now, our focus is on saving Gaza. There's no water, no electricity, no food, no help, nothing. And Israel is bombing them, left, right, and center. They just asked 1.2 million people to move from the north to the south. And they're bombing them as they go.
But ma'am, isn't this
I'm done. I don't want to talk about Israel. We're here for Palestine.
Okay. What brings you out to this demonstration today?
We're here to support Palestinian people, which the Israeli people kill them every day, kill the kids, kill the senior, kill everybody there.
And yet, ma'am, I guess what triggered this incursion...
Which TV you are?
It's
Sorry.
Rebel News, ma'am.
From?
Oh, we're based in Toronto.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And what's triggered this invasion into Gaza is what happened a week ago today in Israel. What do you make of that?
Actually, what happened in general, not starting from 1 week ago, it started from 1948. Okay. From the first day Israel come and occupied our land and kick us out. Okay, and thank you so much.
Oh, okay then.
Both women's positions contain a real grievance. The asymmetry of attention, the decades of displacement, the civilian death toll are not invented. But here's the structural problem with refusing to engage with the previous week's massacre. It is why there are 20,000 people on this street today. Pretending the trigger for the current moment doesn't exist isn't moral clarity. It's selective chronology. History starts where you need it to start.
As you can hear behind me, folks, tons and tons of horn honking. I don't mind that, but you know who does mind that? It'd be none other than Yara Sachs, the Liberal MP for York Centre. Do you remember last year when she had this to say about horn honking?
How much vitriol do we have to see of honk honk, which is an acronym for Hail Hitler, do we need to see by these protesters on social media?
Yeah, so those Freedom Convoy people with their liberal use of the horn, that was an acronym for Heil Hitler. First of all, this woman doesn't even know what the word acronym means, but if that is indeed true, if honking your horn is a way of conveying Heil Hitler, well, I'll tell you, there's a whole lot of Heil Hitlering going on right here, folks. But again, don't expect Yarosaks or anyone else in the blackface regime to condemn these people. Certainly what's happening in Gaza City, this is a direct result of just a week ago today when Hamas terrorists went into Israel and massacred 1,300 people, probably took more than 150 hostages. Don't they wear the blame for what's happening today?
But how about Israel from 60 years? They attack on Palestine from 60 years. So how about that? They always doing. That's why, and they are praying in the masjid, in the mosque, and they're attacking. So that's totally wrong.
Do you support Hamas? Do you think they should be taken off the Canadian government's list of a recognized terror organization?
I don't support any fight. I support peace.
Okay.
So Israel have to stop this because they have most power. So many countries standing with Israel.
Watch closely, because even when some in the crowd offer something more measured, they are told to leave by the moral police on grounds, preventing Menzies from extracting information from the demonstrators.
Shutting down the interview again.
I'm sorry, I don't understand Arabic.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Then can I speak to you for a second over here?
Sure, sorry.
All right then, no problem.
Don't speak to them.
No? Isn't part of a protest, ma'am, trying to articulate what you are indeed protesting? No. How about yourself, ma'am? What brings you out here today? It's very odd, isn't it? I mean, usually a demonstration, people are overflowing with opinions and points of view, but they are not allowing it here, just like at Nathan Phillips Square.
Whether you agree with that analysis or not, it's the cold, hard truth. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for what comes next.
Hey, I'm sorry. Yes. Hamas is not a terrorist group.
Oh, it isn't, ma'am.
First of all, Hamas is not a terrorist group. Hamas is not a terrorist group.
What is it, like a motorcycle club?
It is a resistance that has been fuming for 75 years of colonialism, of occupation, of murder, of rape, of little children, of women. That's what they are. They are resistance.
Do you think Canada is a colonialist country too?
Everything that they do is justified.
Including what happened last week?
Every single thing they have done is justified.
Ma'am, there were children murdered, there were babies beheaded.
Babies beheaded, really? Please educate yourself.
Well,
please check the news, because as a news reporter, you gotta check the fucking news, because they said that shit was fake, okay? Multiple times. Different channels, even Biden himself, his ministers and his idiots said himself that news was fake. So, there's no 40 beheaded babies.
And there were no 1,300 deaths in Israel?
There's no evidence, there's no photos whatsoever. Hamas is a Muslim group. They would never do that because it's against Islam. That's number one. And that's something that they showed.
Do you really believe that?
There is evidence of Israeli women saying that they gave us water, they gave us food, they gave us a place to sleep comfortably. They gave us clothes. They got them to cover up out of respect. This is actual women having interviews talking about when they were hostages or when they were taking in, when Hamas members were coming into their house. These are actual Israeli women saying this is how they were. Even at some point, a Hamas fighter told one of the women, "Can I have a banana to eat?" He asked if...
And here she is. She is 22 years old, wearing machine gun earrings, presenting an argument so detached from verifiable reality that the reporter is visibly struggling to find a foothold.
A banana that was in her home. Does that sound like a fucking terrorist to you?
Well, maybe if you're on the other end of a gun being brandished, you're going to give more than a banana, I would think. But ma'am, you're saying that more than 30... You are denying... with respect, I'll listen to your answer. You're denying 1,300 people died.
As Muslims, they cannot kill children and they cannot kill women.
So what happened last week?
What happened last week is that you need to fucking...
This is where the conversation stops being a debate and becomes something closer to a case study. Because this woman is not stupid, she is 22, she is passionate, she has clearly spent significant time consuming information about this conflict. And the information she has consumed has produced a worldview in which Hamas fighters are banana-asking house guests, and the documented massacre of civilians at a music festival is a media fabrication. The ecosystem that produces that worldview is the real story underneath this rally. And it's a story nobody holding a ceasefire sign wants to examine too closely.
Because there is no 40 beheaded babies, there is no women getting raped and taken out into the street. There's none of that.
What is the source of your information?
I'm sorry?
What is the source of your information?
Oh, honey, I will give you all the fucking information you need. You want it right now? Because I can give you all of that right now.
Give me a website, I'll go to it, but...
Give me 10 minutes, I'll give you all the sources you need.
By the way, are those machine gun earrings dangling her?
Yeah, machine gun earrings. My name is Esther Karam.
Okay.
Okay, I'm 22 years old. I'm a Palestinian. I have no fucking problem saying I support Hamas because they are the true fighters of Palestine and they're gonna bring back Palestine because you guys are fucking white supremacist idiots that need to wake the fuck up.
Sorry, who are the white supremacist idiots?
You are.
Me, okay. Gee.
You're using terms like terrorists for... Have you even seen what has been happening in the past 75
Ma'am,
years?
several governments recognize Hamas as terrorists.
Have you seen the evidence of what has been happening for 75 years? Have you seen it?
Well, we're talking current events right now. We're talking about the terrorist attack last week and what's happening in Gaza right now.
75 years of all this. Forget 75 years. This year, did you look into how many Palestinians were murdered?
By whom?
Did you look into how many times our mosques have been desecrated? Did you look into how many times our prisoners have been 12-year-old boys have been arrested?
But ma'am, it's well documented that Hamas uses mosques, hospitals, and schools to hide their arsenal.
Documented by who?
Well, it's a matter of fact.
Did you ask the Gazan people if that's what they've seen and that's what they heard? Or is that just white reporters being fucking assholes?
The closing stretch is where it all comes apart in real time. Menzies asks for sources. She says, "Give me 10 minutes and I'll provide everything." The 10 minutes never come. Instead, white supremacist idiots, race baiting, alhamdulillah, and finally, from the river to the sea, I hope they all burn.
Ma'am, what does race have to do with this? You say.
Now you're playing the race card.
No,
right?
you played it. You said, what do white reporters? You brought race into this. What does race have to do with this?
What is race? So, do you think this is a religion? Is that you think the issue is religion, right?
No, I'm not even bringing religion into this. I never said the word Muslim. You did several times.
Okay. Racism. Oh my God. I don't know what I'm doing here. I really don't. I don't know why I'm talking to you.
Well, you came to me, man.
I gave you my information. Esther Karam, pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas. Alhamdulillah. Free Palestine from the river to the sea. I hope they all f***ing burn in hell.
Wow. That sounds very hateful.
That is a call for the elimination of the State of Israel. And the woman doesn't deny it. Notice the way she pivoted to the size comparison. 400,000 IDF soldiers versus 30 to 40,000 Hamas fighters, which is, if nothing else, an acknowledgement that Hamas exists and has a military arm. 30 seconds after calling them a peaceful resistance.
What, folks? That is, from the river to the sea. What she just did there is advocate for the end of the State of Israel. Is there not a difference between a terrorist group murdering innocent civilians, which happened last week?
There's a huge difference.
Well, thank you. We agree on that.
Huge difference. The difference is you got how many militants in the IDF are there? Like what? Last time I read, it was like 400,000 Israeli soldiers.
Okay.
Hamas is a group of how many people?
I think it's maybe 30 to 40,000.
34,000, a lot less than that. However, that's the only people defending Palestinians.
Okay.
All right? The only people. Now, make the comparison there.
How are they defending Palestinians, ma'am, by preventing Palestinians from leaving Gaza City?
How is Israel defending their people? Yes, I just want to know, how is Israel defending the innocent lives by killing more innocents? I want to know how.
Well, don't you think the State of Israel has a right to defend itself after what happened last week?
Palestinians. What about Palestinians?
Well, we're going back to last week, what happened.
Before you ask about Israel, funded by US, by Canada, by UK, by a lot of other countries, Palestine, nobody's helping. They cut off their water and their food. Can you really ask me?
Well,
Anything
maybe
about
this is
Israel
a
at
job
this
for
point?
Iran. Iran is the one that is funding Hamas.
Listen,
Well,
sir,
ma'am,
if you're-
that's a
if
matter
you're
of fact.
here- If you're here really to defend Israel and not Palestine, please do not waste anybody's time. Please.
Should I go home?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
She made a dangerous demand, but Menzies' resolve sells the whole dynamic of this rally. People demanding the right to hold a position without being asked a question about it. The questions aren't going anywhere. Neither is the reporter.